A 2-kilometer road and drainage projects were recently commissioned in Babangida community of Tamuwa local government area of Yobe State. Commissioning the projects, Governor Buni admonished the beneficiaries not to mishandle the projects but take with care.
Roads are signifiers of mobility and economic advancement. Across the world, they are considered as part of the infrastructure necessary for a lasting socio-economic growth. This is why our administration considers the construction of roads and concrete drains within and between our major towns as an important part of our post-insurgency recovery and reconstruction effort and a significant step in making life more meaningful for our people. To the people of Babangida town, let me say this. Our administration is committed to taking all the steps necessary to improve your living conditions and the living conditions of all the people across the state.
The 6 governors from the northeastern parts of Nigeria recently converged in Gombe State to provide lasting solution to some challenging issues bedeviling their region. Addressing newsmen after a 4-hour meeting, the governor of Gombe State, Inuwa Yahya, noted that the meeting gave birth to a 14-point communique highlighting the problems facing the region.
The forum agreed that local content development is key to our success, and we are committed to supporting local content initiatives in all development projects. 5. We agreed to support initiatives that will ensure the success of the Mambila hydropower project in order to ensure improved productivity in the sub-region and Nigeria at large.
After the meeting, the governor of Yobe State, Mai Malabuni, addressed the audience in a dinner party organized by Gombe State government in honor of its guests.
Every reason to come together because this is the first time all Nigerians from all walks of life come together and found it necessary and made it possible to support us, to see to it that we recover from the devastation of the Boko Haram. We are not here as happy people because, as I am speaking to you now, I am devastated. Just day before yesterday, the Boko Haram insurgents were in Damboa local government of Borno State. And yesterday they were in Dabchi Bursari local government of Yobe State, where we lost our gallant Mopol officers, 7 of them. So we are devastated as a region.
The leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress in Yobe State has paid a courtesy visit to Governor Mai Malabuni over the government's worker-friendly posture in the state. Speaking on behalf of members of the union, the chairman commended Governor Buni for sustaining the prompt payment of salaries, gratuities and pension of workers in the state.
We at Labour Congress, we thank His Excellency for the foresight and the rest assured, sir, that Yobe workers will continue to support your administration, being the engine room for implementing all government policies and programs for the benefit of our citizens.
In his speech, Governor Buni noted that his administration would not relent in promoting the welfare of workers, stressing that they are the backbone of every meaningful government.
Our relationship with the NLC has always been cordial. This is because we believe that a strong, capable and disciplined workforce is very critical to the success of government and policies and programs and integral to the capacity of government to serve the people. So I want to thank the NLC for your visit today and for the chairman's kind words about the steps we have taken so far to improve our people's living conditions. As has been observed by the NLC chairman, We have come further along in our effort to reposition our education, healthcare, agriculture, and infrastructure sectors, because we believe that these sectors have the most impact in the life of the citizenry. We will continue to invest in them and turn them around so that the entire people of the state are the better for it.
The Yobe state government has finally handed over the National Youth Service Corps orientation camp to its officials for onward usage. The event, which had in attendance the deputy governor representing the governor, traditional rulers, politicians, academics, amongst others. The state's NYC boss appreciates Governor Buni for handing over the renovated structures to the NYC scheme.
Your Excellency, sir, today's ceremony is special as it is not only the first orientation course to hold in this camp, but the first in the year 2020 and the new decade 2020 to 23. May I, at this juncture, register my profound appreciation to our worthy governor, Honorable Mai Malabuni, for providing us with this beautiful edifice as the new orientation camp, which I believe is the best in the North-East sub-region and ranked among the first 10 in the entire country.
In his address, Governor Buni says his administration would provide all the needed support to make corps members comfortable in the state.
We are delighted to address this gathering on this important occasion, marking the swearing-in ceremony of the 2020 Batch A-1 corps members deployed to Yobe State for the 1-year mandatory service under the National Youth Service Scheme. I congratulate the corps members for successful completion of your academic endeavors, which qualified you to be enlisted into this important national assignment. Your prompt response to the clarion call to serve Nigeria, our fatherland, is indeed commendable. I therefore, on behalf of the government and good people of Yobe State, welcome you to our state. Let me remind you that it was the desire for qualitative change in our policy and inform the resolve of the founding fathers to establish NYC scheme. The scheme has over the years strengthened national unity and integration through its deployment policy, providing the needed manpower to education, health, and other key sectors of the economy for the government and private sector.
The Yobe state government is set to tackle the low record of routine immunization in the state. Representing the governor, the deputy governor took an advocacy visit to traditional rulers in Machina, Unguru, and Unisari Emirate councils.
The state has engaged various stakeholders, such as Minister of Religious Affairs, Education, Women Affairs, Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. In line with these emirate representatives, district heads and village heads were also oriented to provide oversight, while my Angua are to do the following.
In response, the Emir of Machina promised to be tough and village heads will refuse to report anyone disobeying government directives by not adhering to the immunization policies.
If you want to remain with your title or your position as district head or village head, you must comply with the directives of the government. So this is a directive, not a request.
This is the interview segment on Impact Yobe. Our guest today is one of those in the forefront of implementing the key policies of Governor Mai Malabuni in the education sector. He is the Commissioner for Higher Education in Yobe State, Professor Mohammed Mukaila. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. Your ministry is new, specifically set up for higher education. What is your mandate?
Well, basically we have about 5 mandates. One is to see that we have the national education policy is implemented in Yobe State with respect to tertiary education. Secondly, we also have to ensure that all the tertiary institutions in Yobe State are conducting their teaching, research, and community work within the mandate established by the relevant regulating bodies. And then we also have an area which has to do with research and innovation, which is a new directorate within the Ministry of Higher Education. This new directorate will be in charge of research, development, and creativity, because we want to harness where we have comparative advantage in the university so that we can have teaching, research in this particular area. So, and finally, we also have to oversee the implementation of scholarships to Yobe State indigenes.
Okay, let's start from the scholarships. How has it been? How have students been able to access this scholarship, and what impact has it had so far?
Well, with respect to scholarship, in fact, we have 2 segments. That's what we have nationally, that's who got admission in tertiary institutions, either polytechnic, college of education, and university within Nigeria. Apart from that, Yobe State also gives scholarship to Yobe indigenes to study abroad, especially in areas where that will be relevant to the development of the state. So within the country, all those who have got admission, either in university, polytechnic, or college of education, can obtain Yobe State scholarship. And now, at least now, the scholarship, they have made it now online. And for those who are going abroad, normally Yobe State conduct a kind of aptitude test, because it is an equal basis. It's not a question of who you know. Once you meet the requirements, irrespective of where you come from, as long as you are from Yobe State, you will assess that particular. Then we conduct an examination. Those who pass that examination, then they will be offered a scholarship to go and study abroad.
The Yobe State University, that was once described as the fastest growing university in northern Nigeria. And there are so many courses now that this university is offering. How far with accreditation of some of these courses? Have they been recognized by the Nigerian University Commission?
Well, this is a good question. Yobe State, we have accreditation in 2014. That's the first accreditation we have. We presented about 29 courses. Out of these 29 courses, 27 got full accreditation, and then 2 interim accreditation. And then this 2019, you know, accreditation is after every 5 years. So for re-accreditation, it's in 2019. And in 2019, we presented 27 courses for re-accreditation. We are waiting for the outcome. As I told you earlier, 2 got interim accreditation. So in 2017, they came for re-accreditation, and they also got this full accreditation.
And you even have professional courses like law and medicine, and we hear that the first set of the law students will be graduating very soon. Am I correct?
Not only that, they have graduated, and there are even some of them that have been called to bar. So the first set of Yobe State law students are going to the Nigerian Law School this year. If you could remember, last month, the Yobe State government gave them scholarship. All those who have got admission to Nigerian Bar School, Yobe State government take care of their scholarship. Apart from them, they give them free laptop so that they can study comfortably when they're in the law school. So we're happy that the first set, they will be in the law school this year. And maybe by next year, most of them, they'll become solicitors and then baristas in law.
And will be able to come and work for the state government.
Exactly.
Okay. What other areas would you say Yobe State government supports the students, the ones in the university, maybe through financial assistance? What's the plan in supporting them? Because, you know, not all of them have that wherewithal to finance their way through school.
Well, as I said, you know, Yobe State take care of their scholarship. And apart from that, Yobe State also create the enabling environment for their study. Like the State University, you know, tuition is free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the State University. In fact, Nigerian University, all the public school in all Nigerian universities, still tuition is free. All they pay is just a token, what they call for either examination fees and other, but in education, tuition is still free in all university in Nigeria, not only in Yobe State, even at Padre level, tuition is still free. So you don't pay for what they call hostel maintenance fees, but not tuition fees. So they don't pay tuition fees. And if you can remember, the governor has declared state of emergency in education, especially with respect to primary and secondary education, which means that once you have good foundation at the lower level, then I'm sure we have to expand the tertiary institution.
What's the qualification of the lecturers and how often are they trained to ensure that they also meet up with global standards and provide that needed education that will equip students that passing through these institutions to be able to hold their own out there?
Well, as I said, let's take the university, for example. The university will have a staff development plan. So those who are teaching the university, normally they are sent abroad, either through state fund or the state government. They give them scholarship to go and further their education. And when they come back, not only MA, but up to PhD level. So a lot of them were trained up to PhD level in all the departments. As I said, we have about 5 faculties. Faculty of Social Sciences, Arts and Education, Sciences, and then we have the College of Medicine, which they have, we have started. And they have a visitation from the Nigerian Dental Association. And at least they are giving the go-ahead to start the MBBS. So in terms of training, Yobe State government give them scholarship for those who are teaching at the university level to pursue their master's and PhD degree within the country and outside the country. And apart from that, I think Yobe State is the only state, to the base of my knowledge, that have implemented federal government ASU agreement. So the federal government ASU agreement, which is a bond of contention in most universities, in Yobe State, we have implemented that.
So there are no strikes?
So in terms of an allowance, they have been getting their an allowance as and when due. All the other components within that agreement, Yobe State government have implemented it to the latter.
Okay, then the School of Nursing is also a project that is in this education sector, higher education, for as we talk about. How has the School of Nursing been? Because we understand the state government is also trying to ensure that this school is well equipped. What's the latest there?
Yeah, well, the School of Nursing, they are lucky in the sense that they have a kind of 2 supervisory ministries. Okay. On the one hand, the Ministry of Higher Education, and on the other, the Ministry of Health. So they get support. In terms of their education curriculum, it's the responsibility of higher education. And with respect to their professional courses, the Ministry of Health take care of it. And the government has provided all the necessary facilities and that to improve the School of Nursing. And we know nurses, and if you can remember last time, Governor Ibing provided KKNFF for rural areas. And these nurses, when they are trained, we can send them to all the local government areas, so that especially in terms of primary health care, they will be relevant. So the government has provided all the necessary facilities in the School of Nursing. And we are going to admit more nurses, and I'm sure when they graduate, most of the hospitals in Yobe State will have adequate nurses to man these hospitals.
You know, there's one basic problem in higher institutions in the country, and that is poor funding for research works. And earlier you talked about research in Yobe State University. Now tell us about research and what grade of laboratories do the students, especially those in technical and science courses, how well equipped and hands-on experience do they get when studying?
Well, let us be honest, funding is a great problem in most sectors, not only in education. And education is very expensive. But at least we cannot say it's adequate, but the government has almost provided the necessary funds that can enable us to conduct research. Most of our laboratories, they have the reagents and then the chemicals they need for their research. And then if you go to the teaching hospital, in fact, they have the state-of-the-art facility in the teaching hospital for teaching and then other medical courses. And if you go to the science department, most of their laboratories, at least they have, but still, we need to get more fund in that area. And government cannot do it alone. So this is the time that we also get the support of the TED Fund. And then we call upon other NGOs and other philanthropists to come and assist Yobe State. The insurgency has really dealt a big blow to our educational sector. And that's why now we are going to appeal to the Northeast Development Commission, at least in terms of increasing funding, so that we can conduct research in many areas.
Then let's talk about the polytechnics and colleges of agri, because sometimes people feel like the emphasis is on the university, the College of Medicine and some other institutions that appear to be of importance. What about this College of Agri, the state polytechnics and other higher institutions of learning that are under the, of course, that belong to the state government? What kind of attention are they getting? Is it the same as the university, or they're getting just adequate?
Well, yes, they are not left behind. The courses they are offering in Gaidam Polytechnic, they have also full accreditation. The College of Agri, Gujuba, they have got full accreditation, but now they are ready for re-accreditation. But the only problem we have now, when they left Gujuba, they are now in Damatru. So we are trying to find a suitable place for them, where we either, once the security situation improves in the state, the government is seeking either for them to go back to Gujuba, but if you see the kind of damage there we have before we put that structure, or they have to stay for a while here in Damatru. There is also another proposal where they will be taken to Babangida in Tarima local government. So government is considering different options with respect to the College of Agri. But at the moment, they are conducting their lectures here in Damatru. They are using one of the model primary school. And in terms of their research and practical, they go to state university. And they use also the university farm to conduct their research.
Okay, let's talk about enrollment now. For enrollment for higher education. There's this United Nations report that says a large number of out-of-school children are from Nigeria, northern Nigeria, and a large number of these out-of-school children are girls. What level of female enrollment do we have in higher institutions, and what's been done to ensure that they are also at par with the male counterparts, if not more?
Well, with respect to enrollment, going to the universities, there are certain requirements you have to meet. Because honestly, also Yobe, in terms of the problem of child's education, Yobe State is facing the same problem. And the problem is that from the primary school, the school dropout rate is higher at the primary and secondary school level. And that's it. And that affects the tertiary education. But now the government is trying to encourage the child's education from primary and making primary and secondary education compulsory, and that will improve the level, but still we need to improve on the level of child's education in the state.
And I know there is also this fear that when we finish from the higher institution, what's next? Is there any assurance from the state government that yes, the best we can do, we will do to ensure that a certain number of these graduates get jobs?
Well, I think that's why in Polytechnic University, we have the Center for Entrepreneur. not everybody. So we want to give them a kind of functional and qualitative education, whereby you don't have, when you finish the university, you don't have to come and looking for a job from the government, so that you can be on your own. I mean, government cannot employ everybody. But once you have qualitative and functional education, then you can be employer of labor rather than to depend on the government. And that's the idea we're trying to do in the Yobe State University and the Polytechnic Trust, the entrepreneurial skill is enhanced, so that by the time the students come out, they be on their own. They don't have to wait for the government job. And that's the way to go. Because if you say that you cannot employ all the graduates, and then also the state government has to create the enabling environment for the other industries and private organizations, so that they can employ some of these young chaps who graduated from the University, Polytechnics and College of Education. But the most important thing is to say that they have a functional education that can be on their, that they can stand on their own, and rather than to wait for government job, so that they can also employ people to work for them. Yeah.
There you have it, the Honorable Commissioner for Higher Education in Yobe State, Professor Mohammed Mukaila, telling us all that there is to know about higher education in the state. Thank you very much for your time on the program, sir, and I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.